Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Daniel. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am so happy that I get to talk to you about this film.
Thank you.
You stole the film.
Thank you so much.
You are just amazing. That was the first thing when I watched the film a few weeks ago and I wrote the publicist. The first thing I said is that you are so charming and you stole the film.
Thank you, Debbie.
Oh my gosh, Daniel, what a way to kick off your career. Not, you're directed by George Clooney. You're starring opposite Ben. You've got Lily, Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown himself plays your grandpa. You are one lucky young man.
Yes, I am very lucky.
Just amazing. So, what was this experience like? Your first time making a movie? Were you?
The experience is great, and Ben and George were so nice to me. The first day filming, I felt comfortable with them, and I trusted Ben and George. And Ty was just amazing, and I felt like they were part of my real family. I felt like Ty was my older brother, and I felt like Ben was my real uncle, and I felt like George was like my dad.
Wow. Well, I have to ask you because everybody knows about George and all the practical jokes he plays. Did he play practical jokes on you?
Not really, but he was very funny, and he told us stories, and the stories are great. And one day on set, we were actually play fighting, and we were play fighting, but I fake punched him, and he moved his head, and then he fake punched me, and I moved my head like I just got hit. And that was a fun time.
So George is teaching you how to be a stuntman, too.
Yes.
Because this is your first film, how did your first day on set, you got all the cameras there, you got the microphones there, you have Martin, your cinematographer there, the cast. How do you even start acting when you walk into something like that for the very first time?
Oh, it was hard because the first scene that I filmed, I was very nervous because I never did it before, and there was all cameras around me. And the first scene when we filmed it, afterwards, I was not nervous at all, and I felt very comfortable with George and Ben. And George gave me some good advice when filming. When there's a lot of cameras, don't look directly into any camera because then you can get nervous. So I really said, that sounds like some good advice. And I took it throughout the filming experience, and it actually very much worked.
Well, I have to tell you, I talked to Martin, your cinematographer, and I've known Martin for a number of years, and Martin said that you were incredible.
He did? Aww.
He did. And Martin, with that camera, he's really picky. So he can see when something isn't right or doesn't look like, and he raved about you, Daniel. Raved about you.
Oh, I said thank you. He was great. I loved him.
Well, you're if you want this to be your career, you couldn't have started with better people. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I've got to ask you have some interesting things happening in this movie. A big question, and because you have Ty playing JR grown up and you're playing JR as a kid, did you and Ty talk at all? Because sometimes when an actor is playing the older version, they like to talk to the younger version to see and to watch and to see if you're doing certain things with your hands or turning your head or walking a certain way, and then they may try and keep doing that as an adult in the character. Did you and Ty ever confer and plot together for things like that?
Yeah, well, not really, but we built a strong connection. I went in his trailer sometimes, and we eat lunch together, and I loved him like my big brother. But we didn't really talk about, JR that much. But one time we went to the basketball court, we were playing basketball, but me and him had a strong connection. We did a lot of things. And here at the hotel, we went in the pool together, and we went in the jacuzzi, and we were hanging out, and it was just I just love him like my big brother.
Wow. Well, and I bet just by you guys hanging out, I bet he picked up a lot of you, the essence of Daniel, that he then put infused into his adult version. So
yeah, I picked up a lot of him too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But then you also have, this whole relationship between your character of JR and Ben's character of Uncle Charlie. I got to tell you, Daniel, every time the two of you are on screen together, my heart smiles. The two of you have such a beautiful connection on screen.
And we also have a connection off screen.
Well, and that, you couldn't have that on-screen connection without that really good off-screen one.
Yeah, we have a very good connection. I felt like he was my real uncle, so it made it easy to film. And actually, yesterday he got me basketball tickets to a game, and it was a great time there. He couldn't come, but I had a great time, and I wish he could have been there with me.
Well, now he has to get you more tickets so that the two of you can go together.
Yeah, I know.
Now, did you have a lot of rehearsal? Because, sometimes, and this is an independent film, and independent films don't generally get as much time as the big films, like a Marvel film, an Avengers film or something. Did you get time to rehearse together?
Not really. Well, we did get time, but we didn't really rehearse together because we knew each other's lines.
Wow. So I got to ask you, because the Dickens, that's a really cool bar. That's a really cool set that they built for you guys. So while you're sitting there, while JR is sitting at the bar, were you actually doing your own on-set school homework there, or were you faking it?
No, it was a prop. Real homework. So what they did was they gave me a sheet of paper, and they just had to copy all the words down on the paper. So they gave me a sheet of paper with words on it, and then they gave me a blank sheet of paper, and I had to copy the words I had to copy the words from the paper and copy on the blank piece of paper.
It probably would have been more fun for you if they'd given you your real schoolwork so you could just sit there and work on that while everybody's working around you.
Yeah, but I hate homework, so.
I hated homework when I was in school, too. And no matter how much you hate it, they still keep giving it to you.
I know.
How was that for you? Because you still had to do school while you were shooting. Did you set aside certain time of the day for school, or how did that work for you?
Well, so what happened was, on the set, after I got done filming the scene, they pulled me off, and I went into the room that they were holding for me, and I had to do school online. And I had to do 3 hours of school each day that I was filming.
Ugh.
So, yeah. And sometimes if I had to film another scene, I would get pulled out in the middle of, if I was an hour in, I would get pulled out and, film another scene and go back in. But I would have to do 3 hours a day, or else the next day I would have to do, if I did 2 hours a day, the next day I would have to do 4 hours.
No. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, school is important, but boy, that's like you got two jobs. You're working on the film and you're working at school. You're doing two jobs here, Daniel.
Yeah, I know. It was hard.
Oh my gosh. Well then, when you've got to work that hard, how much fun was it then when you get to do scenes like driving a car with Ben?
Oh, it was very fun. And Ben was so fun to drive with. I put my hand on the wheel, and he was pushing the gas. And it was so fun. And the bowling scene right before, we had to pick up everybody. And it was fun where we were all just cruising in the car. Our hair was blowing. And then we got to the bowling alley, and the bowling alley was great, and we had a great time.
Okay, so what made the bowling alley so fun? Because I bet you never saw a bowling alley like that before with those straight pins.
Yeah, what made it fun was we were really bowling, so that made it very fun, and we got they had snacks on the set, and it was so fun filming with Ben and everybody. And I actually got a strike on one of them. And that was fun. But mostly there was music, and we were actually real, bowling. We were bowling for real.
Okay, well now I'm jealous because I can't bowl. I'm going to embarrass myself here and tell you that my high score in my entire life for bowling is a 56.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty darn bad. So I've now totally embarrassed myself to you, Daniel. So, but another big part of this film and your dynamic in it and your performance is you with Matthew, Max, and Michael. Doing all these hijinks and going to the bowling alley and going to the beach and riding in the car. And hanging out at the Dickens. How fun was it with those three? Because they come across looking kind of like uncles to you as well.
Yeah, they were also very fun, and I loved them too. And every time at the red carpet, we were at the red carpet, and we were like, yo, what's up? And we were saying hi to each other. And they were so funny too in the movie, and I love them. And I text them. I text George, Ben, Ty, and I also text them.
Wow. So how fun was it to have Christopher Lloyd as your grandpa?
Oh my gosh, it was very fun. He was so funny and nice. And his scenes were very fun to film with him. And it was just great. I loved him.
I love the scene where he went to the Father's Sunday with JR at school. That was really a wonderful, wonderful scene. And he's very funny while he's talking to, the other adults. And you're sitting there watching, and the look on your face is great.
Yeah, it was fun. And we actually, if we wanted to, we could have ate the food. So I ate the food because I was hungry. But it was very fun because you saw all the people and some off the filming. Mm-hmm. When we were on set, but they weren't filming. Some of the parents were asking how is Doc? How is being Doc as a teacher? And I was like, yeah, it was very fun.
Well, now, had you seen Christopher Lloyd? Had you seen the Back to the Future movies?
No, but my mom did, so she told me a lot about him.
I bet your mom was pretty excited that you were working with Christopher Lloyd and being directed by George Clooney.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. So now, working with somebody like George and Ben and Christopher, these guys have been around a long time. Did they give you any acting advice or any advice on, how to keep working and what your priorities should be if you want to be an actor?
Well, I already told you what George's advice was.
Yep.
Don't let them be in the camera because then you get nervous. But Ben gave me some advice that when you're talking, you have to talk like you're having a real conversation, or you're talking with your friend or somebody that you're very close with, or you're comfortable. But if you're acting and you're just like trying to memorize the lines, it won't sound good.
Mm-hmm.
And it would sound like you're trying to memorize the lines. But that was good, very good advice.
Now, did Christopher give you any good advice?
No, not really.
Well, I think you got the best advice that you could get from George and from Ben. Now, is acting what you want to do now?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have do you have a dream kind of acting role you'd like? Do you want to do like a Western and ride horses or?
Yeah, I want to do Star Wars and Avengers and all like those action movies because I like to watch them and it would probably be very fun to film them.
Well, and what's interesting is we don't see a lot of kids in those kind of movies, so that would be a really nice addition.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, you could break some real ground there, Daniel.
Yes.
Ah, well, we're gonna have to let Kevin Feige know that, and for the Marvel films, there's a future here, a future. Daniel can take the jobs.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any other acting jobs lined up yet, or are you still kind of looking?
I have a couple, but other than that, I'm still kind of looking.
Mm-hmm. Well, because you got to balance it with school too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So now that the movie, you've done your red carpet, you've been doing press, the movie is coming out so everybody can see it. If you had to pick one thing that was your favorite thing about making this movie, what would it be?
The scene, the best scene, I think, was filming with Ty Sheridan. That scene with me and him was just great. Loved it. But on set, one of my favorite things was like George brought his dog and his friend brought his dog. His name is Grant. George's friend's name is Grant and his dog was named Walter. And they brought their dogs, and I'm a very big dog fan. So I was petting them, and they were so cute. So that was also very fun.
Yeah, Grant and George have been friends a long time.
They've been friends since, I think, high school.
Oh, Daniel, this has been so wonderful getting to talk to you. You are a young man. I am going to follow your career and see whatever it is you're doing because I just think you're wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
And I hope I talk to you again in the future.
Yes, I hope so too.
All right, you take care of yourself and have a good holiday, Daniel.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye.